the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Being a Milwaukee Admiral, Parssinen sent back. What, Jeff, do you make of Parssinen being back in Milwaukee? Do you think this is a long-term move for him? Is this something that Preds fans should be worried about long-term with him? What do you make of the latest Parssinen development?
No, I mean, I don't think you really need to be nervous about it. I mean, we've seen how much talent he possesses, and it's funny because I've had this conversation with a couple people, and especially my dad. I mean, we go to these games and we're watching these guys play, and last year especially Juuso Parssinen put on a show, and he was fantastic, and kind of broke out. Always give respect to our buddy Eric for being the Parssinen guy from the get-go. And we saw what Eric was really raving about when he was told, he said the Preds should draft him. But I think this year it's been kind of, up and down. Not entirely sure if that's, if that has to do with kind of switching line mates all the time, or where he's playing in the lineup, or just the fact that he might just be struggling, and that's okay. But he's still a young player, and I think that, the most important part is that we've seen what he can do at the NHL level, and we've seen how good of a player he can be when he has confidence, and you don't go between the legs and then shrug your shoulders for nothing. If you're not a talented player, I'd say, one of the best goals that was scored all of last season. And I think, that's kind of, he's a big power forward, he can do a lot with the puck, but this year there's just been some games where his decision-making has just been off, or he's not playing as physical as he should be, or something along those lines. It's just not the Juuso Parssinen that we know. So I think, as far as, I don't think you have to really be worried about it. I would say that this is the right move. I think it was, probably about time. You want him to get his confidence back, and it's not abnormal for this to happen to a young player. And I don't think that he should take it on the chin in terms of, bouncing back and regaining that confidence. But I don't think it means anything in terms of how management or how the coaching staff feels about him as a player. It's just we need to get you back to what we know you can be. And I think, Andrew Brunette actually said something like that. He said that he was failing Parssinen because of, the kind of where he's playing in the lineup and all that stuff. So,
do you think that's coach speak, or do you think that is something that he probably has noticed, and that it actually is something that, look, I know this is real. I have failed him in this opening year with Nashville.
I mean, I think it's, genuine. I don't think, you hear a lot of coaches say that about players, especially young guys. I think that in today's NHL, it's easy for coaches to kind of, be more hard on young players than it is for them to be hard on other players. And we've seen coaches around the league, some former Preds coaches be, a little bit more tough on young guys, and for valid reasons when they explain it. But when there's guys who aren't performing, it's not often that you hear a coach say that they have not just not allowed him to succeed, but like failed him, like not done a good enough job themselves. So I think that's really impressive. I think that goes, I think that shows the kind of coach that Andrew Brunette is, the fact that he's willing to, put a player's inconsistency and performance that we know can be really good on himself, and how, he's coaching him. And so I think that's a really good sign. And I think that, Parssinen going down to the AHL is a little bit, it's unfortunate, obviously, because you want to see him in the lineup every night and playing as well as, he can be, but, he needs his confidence back. And I think it's a good way to do it.
As I say, I can give you 3 quick numbers and let you guys kind of think about what you think about this. So last season, Juuso Parssinen played in 45 games, had 6 goals and 25 points. This season, Parssinen has played in 44, so 1 less, has 8 goals, so 2 more than he did last season, but only 12 points, so less than half of those points. Almost identical time on ice per game. He's actually got a higher shooting percentage this season than last season. So, I mean, I think that, he didn't spend a ton of time in Milwaukee. And I think that he's proven that he can play in the NHL and that he does belong there. But I think the most important number is, he's one of three players that is waiver exempt. So they didn't have to risk anything sending him down. So I think that I don't think it's much to worry about. I think that, the Milwaukee's now won 8 in a row. They still haven't lost a game in 2024. Putting him in there, he played a really big role in last night's win over Belleville, the Senators affiliate. So I think I'm not worried. I mean, if there's anything I would say about this season is that I put less stock in what the lineup looks like this season, I think, than in a while, because who's getting scratched or who's not. Brunette is inheriting this system. They burned a lot of it down and got new guys, and he's got to figure out what he's got, because he's not just evaluating for this season. You can be realistic and think that, yeah, of course you're trying to win and try to make the Stanley Cup Finals, but you're also evaluating these guys that you're going to have to are you going to build this team around. I think out of the 13 forwards, 6 of them that are on the roster right now are free agents. 3 of the 7 roster defensemen free agents. Kevin Lankinen free agent, and then down in Milwaukee there's another 12 free agents at the end of this season. And so there's a lot of stuff. So that's why we see a lot of that shifting of like Colton Sissons and Yakov Trenin, seeing Philip Tomasino out of the lineups, those types of things. I just really wouldn't worry about it, because unless it's something that we've seen obvious, like them after the whole Barry incident and just he's barely played, and Luke Shen not playing very, very as much as we thought he might. It's, you've got to figure out, because this is a big evaluation for Brunette, because he's got to kind of build the next 3 years around this group he's got and who he's going to keep, because they're going to have to do a lot of work in this offseason. So if you're a Parson fan, I wouldn't worry at all.
I like it. Well, we're going to do some reviewing of our predictions, going back to what we did before the year, because I mean, hey, we're at a point now. What are we, 50? Just about 50 games into the season?
I think 48.
48, yeah. So I mean, we're right there. The season is flying by, and we'll do.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.